So as Ronnie said, my name is Anna, and I work on a project that creates resources about Walter Scott or inspired by Walter Scott's poetry for schools. I was here last year when I was just starting the project, and now I'm a little bit further on, and I'm here to tell you and show you about what I've done and how you could be involved. So, what is the project? The project takes Walter Scott's poetry not as some big, long poems that the students have to work their way through, but as an inspiration for other activities and other skills that connect in with the curriculum for excellence. Other skills that involve writing, talking, debating, researching, and of course, reading. And when I created these resources, I wanted to create resources which were fun and engaging for the pupils, but also easy for teachers to find and use. So I actually teach adults, not children, but I know that frustration. You're sitting there on a Sunday night and you've got maybe 30 contact hours in the week ahead of you, and you've got this idea in your head of what you want to cover and how you want the lessons to look, and you're looking for some resources to support you, and you can't find anything good, and you're scrolling and you're searching and you're scrolling and you're searching, and you end up giving up, and at 2 a.m. you just start making your own. So I want to kind of solve that problem by having resources that you can find, and that when you find them, you can just use them. I already mentioned the curriculum for excellence. I've already mentioned exciting and inspiring pupils. I also wanted to make resources that were flexible and varied, so not too much of the same thing. And also resources where teachers could take out little bits if it suits their pupils and their classes, and ignore bits that don't. So the next question you might be asking after you've asked what is the project is, why Walter Scott? Well, Walter Scott was a hugely influential figure, culturally and in terms of literature. Even people who have never read a word of Walter Scott will come across him in their everyday lives, in place names and in his influence. He affected and influenced literary tradition, is that the word I want? Literature. He influenced and developed literature not just here in Scotland, but internationally. For about at least 100 years after he wrote, most authors, in fact, I would even say all authors, were either, or those who were writing in English or Scots at least, were either writing in his tradition or writing directly against his tradition. He was hugely influential and I think a really important person for our pupils to know. He also engaged with issues that are still really relevant today. He talked a lot about things like belonging, about consent, about the role of the underdog, about seeing things from different perspectives. All of those kind of things that can still be, or still are, relevant to people today. So, really important figure, and definitely when you're choosing someone to study in your classrooms, definitely go for Walter Scott. So I was here last year, I spoke to some of you then. This is a little timeline of the project. It technically finishes in December, but I will still be around. So if you have questions or you'd like me to come into your schools after December, please do just contact me, I will be around. But since last time, I've created various activities, standalone ones like booklets, games, reading tasks, lesson units, and longer units as well. This single lesson unit is based on the ballads that Walter Scott collected, and there is a CD to go with that one. And I took 85 copies of this CD down from Aberdeen, so please do take one so I don't have to carry them back with me. These were gifted to us from the musicians. And I've also trialed some of the resources in schools, and also some teachers, including some of you here, has been kind enough to give me feedback as well. So thank you to all of those. I'm still looking for a little bit more of that as well. So, last year I had loads of slides and I talked through all of the resources I had made at that point. But I thought for this year, that would be a little bit dry. And I thought it'd be much more interesting for you to actually look at some of the resources. So my colleague Natalie has handed out some of the things that I've made. Now, some of these are for primary school, but I thought you'd be interested in seeing them anyway. And we're going to take about 5 minutes. I'd like you to look in kind of, I think, groups of 3 at the resources, discuss what it is, what are you looking at, what's going on. If you were to use it, how would you use it? How do you think your pupils would respond to it? Would they respond well? Would they hate it? Just talk it through. Does it fit in with what you teach? And I have put a feedback form on the back. So if you do have any feedback, if you notice any errors, if you think it would be terrible, if you think it would be good, I'd appreciate it if you could jot down some notes. And if you love it, and you wouldn't mind us using a quotation saying you love it, pop that down and tick the little box to say that we can use your comments. So we're going to do that for 5 minutes. If you get bored with your resource, you can just pass it around to somebody else. Sorry for everyone on the camera. You're just going to have to look at this one here. And I will wander up and down if you have any questions. We're going to do this for about 5 minutes. Okay, I think that was 5 minutes. I hope you managed to have a look, have a discussion. Hopefully you have some comments for me. Ideally, at the end of this session, there's another speaker after me. If you could pop your comments back on my table outside, then I will be able to receive them. I won't have to be trying to collect them in during the next talk. So those are the resources that I've made. I know you've only looked at one of them. But that brings me to my last slide, which what are the next steps? So I have these resources. Some of them have been trialed. Some of them I've had teachers' feedback from, but not all of them. So I have put them all online, but I've put them all online on a website that you can't find via Google. So it's there, but it's hidden. So if you would like to look at what I've got, you can either scan the QR code now, or you can pick up a postcard from my desk outside, which has got the QR code, the URL, and my email address. So the next step, and this is really me kind of begging a favor from you all, is I'd love it if you could look at some of the resources. If there's any you like the look of, try them out in your classroom. Let me know whether they work or not so that I can make any changes. If you see any mistakes, any typos, any other errors, again, please let me know. If you're somewhere that I can get to fairly easily, I can come into the classroom and trial the resources for you. That gives me the opportunity to see how the pupils react. I do a lot of workshops in schools in my other career, which is as a storyteller, so it shouldn't be a disaster. Any general feedback you have, like this resource is just not appropriate for some reason, let me know. Also, if there's anything you like, let me know. And if there's anything you think, oh, we've really got a gap in what we need here, also let me know. Last year, I did take email addresses. Some of them bounced back, and after a year, I had to shred the list. So if you signed up last year and didn't hear anything from me, or if you'd like to sign up again, or if you're new and you'd like to sign up, I have a sign-up sheet, and I can send you emails about the project, and also we can keep in touch. And I think that is everything I have to say, and I think I am out of time. Is that right? Am I out of time, or do I have what? Spot on. Wow, that has never happened to me before. So thank you all so much for listening, and I hope to talk to you all in the break.